The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Leadership Podcast. It's yet another edition of The Big Issue. And of course, we are still on, we could say, a special Independence edition because today is Independence holiday. And of course, I hope you had a very nice weekend. Without taking much of your time, we'll go into the big issue of the day, which is Ayu's fate, still in the balance as ray of hope rises for the opposition People's Democratic Party. As usual, I'm your regular host. And with me in the studio, our very vibrant in-house analyst. We have your regular Silas Ezogu.
Welcome today.
And the political pundit himself, Chibuzo Okaide.
Thank you, sir.
Well, today's big issue borders on a ray of hope in the opposition People's Democratic Party, suggesting that Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike and governors in his camp, as well as other party bigwigs in his camp, may have softened their stance against the presidential bid of former Vice President and presidential candidate of the party, Atiku Abubakar. Well, the Wike's camp are going to meet in Enugu State. And of course, there are feelers that one of the primes in the agenda of that meeting in Enugu is to consider some of the offer being made by the embattled presidential candidate of the party. This is even amidst alleged misappropriation of funds in the party involving the national chairman and the NWC members who were said to have collected millions of naira as housing allowance. The allegations are that they ought not to have collected that money because the national chairman has no powers to sign out monies above 10 million naira. But there are others in the party who said what the NWC members got was in order. But the meeting in Enugu is something that most Nigerians feel the vice president, the presidential candidate might succumb to some of the demands of the Rivers State Governor, which has to do with the removal of the national chairman, Senator Iyachayu. Silas, I think if you want to see what is playing out in PDP now, you can liken it to what Kenny Rogers sang in the song The Gambler. And I think Atiku is beginning to see towards that direction. And you know, according to Kenny Rogers, every gambler knows that the secret to survival is knowing what to throw away and knowing what to keep. And that in the game of life, just like in the game of the gambling, that has to do with cards. You know where to hold them, when to fold them, know when to run, walk away, know when to run. You know, you don't even count your money while sitting at the table. There'll be time enough to count it. Don't you think, from the way it is going, the national chairman will have to go because Atiku has been put in a tight corner that he now knows that, look, he has to sacrifice certain things if he must get the presidency. At least there will be time enough for him to count his gains after succeeding. I think this is what we are seeing now. Because that meeting in Enugu, if Atiku now says, okay, I have succumbed, you should be replaced, this matter will end. So what do you think about the presidential candidate?
What I think we can just kind of second guess what they'll come up with. When the meetings have been in secret, once they want to help all that also been secret. But we are just trying to extrapolate, try to guess what they were going to do. Now, Atiku, it's not behaving like somebody who has a last chance.
Who really wants to make very good use of that last chance?
It's not behaving like somebody who has, because among people I speak to, they say, look, this is Atiku's last chance. Just like last time with Barry's last chance, and he took it.
Very good
So,
advantage of
so,
it.
so this one, and even this one I took is taking, he's taking a sword that should have gone to Southeast. If you look at everything in terms of finance and equity and all the stories, all the good things they talk about, he's grabbed a ticket that was supposed to go to South and in Southeast. So he's flying that ticket. He should know that he's living on borrowed times. So whatever he needs to do to get this house in order, it is he's the greatest loser and also possibly the greatest gainer in whatever president 2023. This election is for him to lose. The APC is trudging on one leg, in fact, half a leg. First of all, the government in Hebron is supporting Nigeria. They're just waiting for them to leave the scene. Even the president has said he can't wait to leave and go back to Dara. So it's time is ticking. Of course, they have the Muslim ticket that's also telling them the face. They also have presidential candidates that could not attend the peace meeting and could not even come to start off his campaign. And a lot of discussion about his head and everything shady about him is coming out in open. In fact, some of the videos I even showed about his head, his bicycling awareness of 2013 and maybe January, not even current. So Atiku is staying in a PDP, has a PDP structure that has won election before. So it's not like PDP that is starting afresh. So he has everything going for him. So he said, let him know that whatever it was, if it is said that it is believed that the Senator Ayo is his man, let him get to work to convince his man that we are looking for a bigger prize.
You just
As the president of Nigeria is the most powerful president in the country.
let's just have peace. Let's
Yeah,
sacrifice
you
for these
control
people.
the country's
Yes.
resources, not the party chairman. Unless Ayu does not believe that Atiku can win the election, unless
Then you will sit tight.
he will now sit tight,
Chances.
unless he doesn't believe in Atiku's presidency, or he believes that Atiku will win this election, like he should believe. In fact, he should be number one believer in Atiku because he, from the thing that come out, he helped to revive the process situation that Atiku won the election. So if he believes in it, what is party chairman? What is stands to gain with Atiku presidency? It was 100 times more than whatever is getting as party chairman. And he has a chance to do even 2 terms, because if Atiku wins now, he's likely to do 2 terms. Nigerians don't live power midway.
Yeah.
You know? But if he's party chairman, he can't even last more than 4 years. In fact, the way PDP is, if he finishes top first that 4-year term, he'll be a surprise. So I think we need to look at it and God man and say, come, let us, like I say, the ones can throw away, the one can hold. So I can get, in fact, if you don't leave the small thing you're holding, you can't get a bigger one. So you need to leave something you have, not to get a bigger one. So Nigerians, those people of PDP and their Atiku friends, and those who wish to have a smooth process, we're hoping that they come to an agreement. See, the other ones, other legalists are talking about that the other ones, the deputy vice chairman of party is safe or not. Those who can work that internally. Once there's a will, there'll be a way.
There's always a way. Thank you very much, Silas. You see, I think he has to take a cue for from the likes of Obi, who are doing everything. Obi 1 million, 2 million mark is making the whole thing very difficult for the major parties in the country. And then look at Tinubu. Tinubu ran to London while they were signing Peace Pact, generating rumors that it could be on grounds of health that he now traveled to that country. And just to prove that it is not true, Tinubu now had to go on, how do they call this? Tracksuits and canvas. You see him sitting on top of bicycle, riding, just to prove that he's hale and hearty. Well, that is the way of politics. You always use enemies to succeed. Well, let's see what Chibuzo have to tell us about. You know, there was this allegation that number one, Atiku promised Wike of support in 2027. But that could have meant that he is planning to go on the 1 term as president. And that although the Atiku media team, campaign team came out blatantly. Dino Melai is saying that Atiku did not make such promise. But you could not tell with politicians. They could be doing their thing secretly and they're coming out to refute. So they keep the public in the dark. And the idea of the monies disbursed to NWC members, naturally going by PDP's constitution and the way the party has been doing. So do you think IU is really guilty of that, or they are using it to really seal his fate? And then the promises Atiku is making, I think these are part of the things they are likely going to see to minutes. Would Atiku have made that kind of promise that don't worry, the next after 1
Wow.
No, we just have to understand the these things, how these things are playing out there. There are some kind of intrigues that see. Don't forget this in media age will say, "Oh, it's not true." But there are some things they have refuted, but they are actually true, just to keep the public in the dark.
Well, that's the thing. We are in a very, the stakes are very high, and we're in a very political environment. This is, of course, there's no ruling out what politicians will say and do for power. And when they are pressed, pushed to the wall, and are in a position where they need to say what they have to say to get what they have to get, they can say anything to get power. So there's no ruling out any of that. Now, whether he said it, whether he made the promise to Wike that he is going to support him for 2027, is neither here nor there, because it has become a matter of you said, I didn't say. So the only two people in the room that can actually, give a clear, and even at that, we might not still get to the end of it, because it will not be a case of you said, I didn't say, and so we might not get to the end of the ding dong that might play out over such accusation and counter accusations. But I think that kind of conversation is coming forth shows the extent of political discussions going on within the party and the level at which the quality of engagements are. PDP has found itself in a very, very precarious situation for a number of reasons. And, these reasons are public domain. For instance, it started with the zoning issue and how they went about the zoning question. There is zoning in their party constitution, but they choose not to zone. So the window for a political arrangement of sorts became open. Now, with a window like that, it's expected that every politician wants to exploit it to the best of their own, interest. And so when it came to the issue of IU has to go, and when some people are saying IU has to go through a constitutional means, which also situates power, because the whole basis now, unfortunately or interesting, the whole basis for IU's removal, we forget the fact that, well, we can't forget it because it's all part of the equation as well. The whole basis or the fresh agitation for IU's removal is that it has to pave the way for a southern president, a southern chairman to assume office for proper representation and for a basis on which party members from the south can go and campaign, since they still hold to the fact that power isn't coming down south. So they need to hold something tangible to bargain with. Now that is one argument. The other argument that is of the other side is that we can't be doing this now. Elections are almost here. The election is almost here, rather. So we can't afford to have this distraction, particularly when the chief person calling for Ayu's removal is somebody who feels aggrieved for personal reasons. So it makes the whole discussion very complicated and one tilted towards personal interest rather than
But sorry,
the larger
just
interest.
to, not as if I'm cutting you
Yes,
short, but
yes.
let me just chip in something
Okay.
to guide you. You know that the issue now has gone just beyond personal, just one personal interest. Don't forget that
Yes.
some governors of the party are also behind it.
Yes.
If you now begin to look at it as Wike's own selfish interest,
Yes.
it will not. If not, you can't imagine that governors like Enugu State Governor,
Yes.
or your state governor,
Abia State,
Benue State Governor, Abia State Governor,
Yes.
former governors.
it's a now a faction and not just Wike's personal
but-
interest.
But that's the thing. That was what I was trying to explain. That the whole problem started when they jettisoned
The zoning
the
government.
party. Because exactly, the provision for zoning is clearly spelled out in the party.
Yeah.
So immediately that happened, it paved the way for all sorts of political arrangements around the party constitution, not stricto sensu to what the party constitution provides. You understand? And the interesting thing is that all of these people making and demanding for Ayu to go, when they were bringing Ayu as party chairman, did they consult all of the party members? So that is why it is difficult to extricate personal interest from the group interest. And it is what politicians do. Politicians find a way of situating their own personal interest within the broader interest.
As a common
However,
interest.
from a tactical point of view, and perhaps why this thing has dragged for so long, is because the face of it has been somebody who is seen to be a chief mourner or a chief aggrieved person. And is seen as, okay, because you lost and you are bitter that you lost, you're now angling for. You understand? So it puts the whole agitation in a very precarious situation. And so that is why I personally think it took a long time for the IU question to be resolved. Perhaps if somebody else had taken up the crusade or the call for IU to go on this front, you would have gotten some more traction than but the party is where it is at the moment. And it's unfortunate that they had to get the party's Atiku's attention. Let me use that expression. To get Atiku's attention, they had to go as far as creating the drama that played out with the National Assembly, National Working Committee members funding money.
The money.
It practically forced the party to halt whatever plans it was going on with its campaign.
Yes.
Because immediately that news broke, in fact, the whole place was alive.
There's an opera.
And it was an opera, and Atiku had to beat a fast one to go see Wike. And so it's unfortunate that it had to come to this point, and there's no telling how much of that impression about the party that it would affect. There's no telling how much impact that would have as far as the image of the party is concerned going into the campaign season. Because you can't be saying you want to do things differently and now we are having this kind of scandal. Funny enough, the person who is at the center of it has remained quiet for a long time, which is the national chairman. Many had expected that by this time he would have come forward to say, okay, this is what happened. At least I'd make an attempt to make the records straight and show that the party is a party of accountability, because that is what it comes down to. If the party cannot show that it is one that can, be accountable,
it cannot be trusted. It cannot be trusted with power to say, okay, come and govern the whole country.
It is critical, however, that Atiku attempts or shows, because at this point you can't blame Atiku for any of that. He was not the NWC member or anything. But it will be critical to see how he addresses this issue, because it will be at this. There's no way he cannot function outside the party to a large extent. Even if he becomes president, he will still need the party to function. And so the perception of the party will still be there. So it's important, or it will be intriguing to see how he manages, what is playing out at the moment.
Thank you very much, Chibuzo. Chibuzo raised a very salient issue here. The idea of that money. You see, politicians could be very, very smart and mischievous if they want to achieve a purpose. And that is even where the whole thing baffles everybody. First of all, Silas, you know a typical politician with money. A typical politician will sit there at a point in time, he will now come. I don't know the kind of repentance that would have really hit. That we will not say, okay, no. All this while I've been holding illegal money. Let me return this money.
In fact, they didn't even see the money. The money had
Who
been
does
there
not know the magic
in
of
their account
Who
for
does not know
weeks.
the magic of putting a piece of meat in the mouth and the meat disappearing? And NWC members
say,
with that sum of money, they're coming back and say, no, I want to return that.
Don't even waste your time. with all
At
those-
the end of the
all
day,
this
what would have
explanation.
somebody
The thing that-
behind would have been masterminding that?
No, you see, they just play the game and they got the attention they're looking for.
Exactly.
To get a position to return money in this hard time,
That I tell you,
that they need money for a lot of
for
things.
a lot of things.
Political things that they need to do to return that kind of money. And why they have to publish done it? To write beautiful letter and put it in the press. You
Same
know,
day.
now this money has been in the account since how many weeks? In fact, one said he had to scroll down to go and see that such money came to the account. And
And he
see.
didn't know.
So that
all
means
this one.
does it have 200 million accounts? I don't know that such big money came into one account. Or it is so rich
Can you imagine?
that doesn't recognize that such small sum at 28 million or so enter his account. You know, so, just got it hit on the head. They needed to get the party's attention, and this jolted because it had become like, okay, we have to just proceed with that one.
Yes.
From the way Atiku was really going, campaign council, this and that, we started giving him videos and everything.
And just
Like,
as if,
okay,
just as when Nigerians were even going to see that coming out,
And
the weekend come now.
don't to bring him back.
If you
back
if you recall, Wike gave an interview before the inauguration of the campaign council. Yet the party, ignored it. He even made an allegation of 1 billion.
And they
just some other, and even there the national chairman to refute it,
and they just ignored
and they ignored him and went ahead. But when this money started, the funds started happening, the party couldn't, afford to.
And I'm very sure that those monies, I can tell you, Silas, a huge part of it had been spent by the NWC members. When they now got the money to start refunding, is one most Nigerians are even wondering.
Well, they refunded the money.
They refunded it. That is how it is.
The thing is,
so on the final,
it don't solve a problem by ignoring it.
yes,
That problem is facing PDP and Atiku face. They have to resolve it one way or the other. Because if they carry on as if it's not there, it's going to continue hitting them on the face, and it's not going to help their campaign. If you want to say something, the pressure, the image of the party that's out there is the people are saying so. PDP has not changed. I took it tell us about changing, to fight corruption, want to do this one, this and that, and we haven't this in his party. After you. Okay, so you want to unify Nigeria. That's the core of
and you see,
you want to unify Nigeria. You cannot even unify your party.
So
you see, these two
major aspects. Let me even make you understand. Let me show you. Let me make you see the wit and the wisdom which the Wike camp deploy. The idea of refunding of money that was shared is something that has to do with a metaphor associated with the PDP. PDP shared the money.
Yes.
Continue. Let's sit talking.
I do think, I don't know, this is my rounding thoughts.
No, of course. Yes, before, let me just add, in your rounding thought, I think at the end of the day, you help us do a little bit of projections, how the things might play out in the coming days following the meeting in Enugu. And I think there's this report that even the BOT is really planning to meet with Wike and Atiku.
Okay, Wike, when they met in Enugu yesterday, and like Mr. Silas did point out, there are a lot of conjectures as to, is it conjectures? I don't know. Conjectures as to what played out at the meeting. It was a 4-5-man meeting, solely governors and thing, and of course it's expected that they won't come up with they won't make any public pronouncements, because when they took the decision to pull out of the campaign council of the party, they made the decision in a broader meeting with other party leaders, Chief Jerry Ghana, Professor Jerry Ghana, Chief Bode George, Donald Duke, and some other party, leaders. So it was expected yesterday that they wouldn't make any public statement as to the outcome of their meeting. And perhaps the whole idea was Wike to give a feedback to his colleagues as to the private meeting he had with Atiku, and to help gauge the level of commitment Atiku has made. Because before now, Wike had made some comments about, you told us we gave you an option, or we gave you offers. You said we were going to get back to us. You didn't get back to us. So now this is the second time Atiku and Wike, the third time Atiku and Wike, the second time Atiku and Wike are meeting one-on-one. As against, that's outside the London meeting. So perhaps Wike was trying to give his colleagues a feedback of, and help to strategize and see what direction. Some people even said, at the meeting they are going to support the Labour Party man.
That was just make PDP to get up again.
Debunked it. Part of the idea of rattling the
debunked it immediately.
The party leadership and Atiku.
They debunked it immediately. That no, they had no such resolution to endorse him and all of that. But these are politicians. When the politician tells you wrong, perhaps you should start walking. Say walk, perhaps you should start running. But the BOT has also said it's going to meet, all of the. We met Atiku yesterday. Met the vice president 2 days ago, and he said they intend to meet at Wike sometime this week in Port Harcourt. So perhaps when the BOT is done, because the BOT is the advisory body, they are like the elders of the party. Perhaps when they are considered the conscience of the party. Interestingly, I use a member of the BOT. Is a member of the BOT. So with all of what is playing out, there are projections that the BOT might lean on IU or lean on both camps and create a pathway for egos to be relaxed and for them to see how they can create windows for each person to begin to pedal on their stance. Because at the heart of all of this, it will seem as if beyond the ego thing is strategic positioning for 2020 for the Atiku administration. That is at the heart of all that is playing out. So perhaps the BOT can help to harmonize that process to ensure that, okay, if you have to leave office now, it doesn't mean you are totally cut off from the whole system. And okay, the Wike camp, we still recognize you and we want to ensure that you have a stake in the Atiku, in the incoming administration, if the PDP wins. So because I didn't all this talk about national interest, southern agitation, blah blah blah. At the end of the day, it is their personal interest that is at play. You had Wike say it oftentimes. He was just saying, Wike talks like this, and the next minute he talks another. When he gets really pained, you really know what drives the anger. Of course. And you hear him say sometimes, they give it to Tamboa. They give it to what are they bringing for Rivers? Unfortunately, he doesn't use his own name. He says what they give it to Rivers. What is Rivers?
We talk of Rivers. What of other South?
So at the end of the day, you discover that it's a but they have would I call it smartly, or as they often do, try to situate that personal interest in the mask of group. However, and this is what we have consistently said here. This is the flag of the campaigns has this campaign. Why do I keep mixing my tenses? Has flagged off. What we have always anticipated appears to be playing out. We are now beginning to see more of dramatic engagements than the real issues. And this is very unfortunate. You look at the APC, the only things we hear from the APC as we speak.
The APC has their own issue.
I'm coming. This is
the APC is even and now as it is.
I'm coming. This is day 2. Or day what? No. What is more than day 2? Yes, 28.
It's almost now.
This is almost a week. into the campaign season, formal campaign season, and we are still having theatrics about formation of party campaign council, somebody's health somewhere. Want somebody riding bicycle to prove he's not ill.
He's
And
very
you
ill.
look at the PDP, all we are hearing, Wike and Atiku. I'm not dismissing these things. These are real things.
I agree with you. The only person who seems to
These
have
are
got
real
his
things.
job going is Labour Party candidate.
I'm going there. I'm going there.
You know, all these things playing out in the
I'm
major
going there.
parties, both APC and PDP, is really working for the Labour Party.
No, but I'm going there. I'm going there too. But even the Labour Party, yes, we see all of the matches going on in different states, the show of strength and show of presence, you know, in the state. But the real discourse, we are yet to get that, of course. What do I mean? Who is talking to? No. It will come. But before you know,
how many months to the election?
Listen, of course, that was debate.
We're only hearing
You know, before the flag off, there were debates organized by NBA and the Chamber of Commerce that some attended and some didn't attend.
But that's
the same people who
that's the
attended
thing.
this NBA attended NBA. Those who missed out on NBA, missed out the other one. Those were not even there for flag off. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that those who know that the debates, what they call them to say, not just I'm going to do this, I'm going to invent that. Give us practical, blueprint. How are you going to do it? It's about how. Everybody wants to make Nigeria.
Perhaps
how?
Perhaps we should.
At that point, they're going to do that.
Of course.
Perhaps we
But
should.
now they're looking for support.
No, but they had the primaries ended in June.
Okay.
They ended in June. They had how many months before September to tidy up all the political issues? All of the political, they had that number. So maybe this shows that our political evolution is still far behind what it ought to be.
It is for us to engage them.
Well, that is the much we can take for today's edition of the big issue. As it is now, it appears the crisis in the opposition People's Democratic Party will soon be resolved. And of course, that depends on the presidential candidate, whether he will be wise enough to make some sacrifices, even if it has to do with asking the national chairman of the party, who is his close ally, to step aside for peace to reign. In the coming days, we are going to see what plays out in that party. And of course, most Nigerians are very keen about happenings in the opposition People's Democratic Party. Because as a major party in the country, which is now in the opposition, it is considered that would have been the party that would have served as an alternative government to the APC. Although we see we are now having some party coming out, playing out big, like the Labour Party and its presidential candidate, Peter Obi. Well, let's see how events unfold in the coming days. Thank you for keeping tab with us out there. And of course, I'll thank our our in-house analysts for addressing the big issue. Join us same time tomorrow for another edition of the big issue. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.